Yellowstone's Reilly shares how Beth Dutton changed her in emotional goodbye. Reilly, the leading lady of Yellowstone, recently took a moment to pour out her emotions in a soul-stirring homage to her on-screen persona, Beth Dutton, following the explosive series finale on Sunday. With an Instagram post to her 954,000 followers, she delivered her touching valediction and candid musings on the extraordinary journey of filming the widely praised Western saga. "Hi, I'm so deep into another role at the moment about another land worth fighting for in the UK. But across the pond, the finale is happening tonight of the show. Whatever the future holds, this is the ending of the show we have been making for the past 7 years," Reilly expressed to her admirers. The climax has sent waves through the Yellowstone viewership, with many expressing outrage over the seemingly squandered potential of Jamie Dutton. Some fans have even voiced their indifference towards series creator Taylor Sheridan's own cringeworthy insertion. Yet the British star's gratitude didn't stop there. She shined a spotlight on the incredible ensemble she worked with, the invaluable friendships spawned on set, and the unparalleled dedication displayed by each crew and cast member. "Words cannot convey how I feel about the people I got to work and create with over the seasons. I have made true lifelong friends, the support from the crew, and the trust and dedication of the cast. The words I got to say and the woman I got to inhabit. It changed me. It lit me up. It challenged me in every way possible, and I will forever be grateful for it," she narrated over a video compilation of Beth's most unforgettable moments. Reilly closed with a heartfelt acknowledgement to Taylor Sheridan for the creative odyssey, saying, "For Taylor Sheridan, who took a chance on me and continued to write her in ways I got to feel on fire as an actor. Thank you, Taylor," she graciously attributed to Sheridan. During her heart-to-heart on Drew Barrymore's CBS talk show, Reilly shared a raw perspective on how her role as Beth in Yellowstone was a beacon during her personal struggles. "I was in a deep grief, and I hadn't figured out who I was beyond that, and I was in a fog at that moment. And then this character lands in my lap, and I was like, what am I going to do with this? She became this kind of life raft for me," Reilly confided to Barrymore, reports the Irish Star. While the original hit series has concluded, there is buzz that Reilly is set to return as Beth in a highly anticipated Yellowstone spin-off. The Montana sky stretched endlessly above, its hues a mingling of amber and bruised indigo as the sun dipped behind the jagged Rockies. Reilly stood just offset, her breath visible in the crisp evening air. She clutched a steaming mug of coffee in her hands, the warmth bleeding into her palms as her thoughts wandered. Beth Dutton had been more than a role. She had been a force, a shadow, and a companion. Tonight, as the final scenes wrapped, Kelly felt the weight of saying goodbye, not just to the show, but to the woman who had, in so many ways, altered her own essence. "Beth taught me to be fearless." Kelly's voice was steady, but there was a catch in her throat as she spoke to a small gathering of cast, crew, and a handful of journalists invited to the series wrap. Her words carried the same razor-sharp conviction as her characters, though softened by her own unmistakable warmth. "When I first read the script, I thought, who is this woman?" Beth was raw. She was unapologetically complicated, fierce, and deeply flawed. I wasn't sure I could embody her, but Taylor Sheridan saw something in me that I hadn't yet seen in myself. She paused, her emerald eyes glistening under the string lights that had been draped around the campfire. Beth scared me, and that's exactly why I knew I had to play her. Over the years, Kelly had become synonymous with Beth's fiery presence. Fans approached her on the street, calling her by the character's name, quoting lines dripping with venom and wit. For a time, it was thrilling. But as the years passed, the lines between Kelly and Beth began to blur. "She changed me," Kelly admitted, her voice tinged with reverence. Beth is so deeply rooted in pain and survival. Living in her skin forced me to confront parts of myself I didn't even know existed. She taught me resilience, but she also taught me how dangerous it can be to build walls too high. A voice that wouldn't be silenced. On set, Kelly often felt like Beth was guiding her, rather than the other way around. There were moments when the character's voice seemed louder than her own, her emotions more vivid. She recalled filming the now famous scene where Beth confronts her father, John Dutton, in the barn. It was a moment of vulnerability for a woman who so often hid behind barbs and bravado. I remember breaking down after that take, Kelly shared. I wasn't sure if it was me crying or Beth. Maybe it was both of us. That's what made playing her so profound. She demanded honesty, not just in the lines, but in how I approached my own life. Kelly reflected on how Beth's complexity resonated with viewers. Fans saw themselves in her rage, her loyalty, her undying love for Rip Wheeler. They forgave her sharp edges because they understood the wounds that had shaped them. Beth gave people permission to be messy, Kelly said with a small smile. She reminded us that strength and vulnerability can coexist. Goodbye, but not forgotten. The decision to end Yellowstone was bittersweet. For Kelly, it felt like leaving behind a chapter of her life she could never fully close. Even as the cameras stopped rolling, she knew Beth would remain a part of her, a voice whispering in the back of her mind, a presence that had irrevocably altered her perspective. Beth Dutton doesn't say goodbye, Kelly mused, a glint of mischief in her eyes. She would probably tell me to stop being so sentimental and get on with it. The crowd laughed, but there was an undercurrent of emotion as Kelly continued. But seriously, how do you say goodbye to someone like Beth? She's indelible. She's fire and ice, love and fury. She's everything I wasn't before I met her. And now she's everything I hope to carry forward. A lasting legacy. As Kelly looked out over the crowd, she saw the faces of those who had shared this journey with her. Kevin Costner, Cole Hauser, and the dozens of crew members who had brought the Yellowstone Ranch to life. She saw the journalists scribbling furiously, eager to capture her words. But most of all, she saw herself, changed, weathered, but deeply grateful. Beth has left her mark on me, Kelly said softly. And I think she's left her mark on all of us. Through her, I've learned to be bolder. I've learned to embrace my flaws, to fight for what matters, and to love fiercely. I'll carry that with me forever. She placed her mug down, her hands now free to gesture as she spoke her final words. This isn't just a goodbye to a character. It's a goodbye to a version of myself I didn't know I could be. Thank you, Beth, for everything. One last ride. That night, Kelly took a solitary walk through the Yellowstone set. The barns, the corrals, and the sprawling ranch house loomed under the moonlight, silent but brimming with memories. She touched the rough wood of the fence, letting her fingers linger on its weathered surface. It felt like touching a part of Beth, solid, enduring, and unyielding. As she turned to leave, she felt a strange sense of peace. Beth wasn't gone. She never truly would be. She was in the wind that whispered through the trees, in the stars that lit up the Montana night, and in the hearts of everyone who had been touched by her story. Kelly Reilly walked away from the set of Yellowstone that night, not as an actress saying goodbye to a role, but as a woman transformed. Beth Dutton had changed her, and in turn, she had changed us all. Would you like to expand on a particular part of this story?